So what would you do to shorten up the rotation? What would your rotation be if you were in Monty Williams' shoes with the roster as it is right now? We'll talk about the roster right now, and then we'll talk about what your rotation would be if the roster was healthy.
So rotation-wise, we're on a 19-game losing streak. I don't really think anything I say will hold any weight or merit.
Yeah.
But I know this team isn't going to win a lot of games, and I'm fine with that. I know this team isn't going to make the playoffs. I'm fine with that. But this would be my starting five. I'm starting Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Bojan Bogdanovic, Asar Thompson, Jalen Duren. I'm having Isaiah Stewart on the bench. I don't need Isaiah Stewart in my starting lineup. I just don't. I think Isaiah Stewart is a fine player. I love the leaps that he's made from the perimeter.
Yeah.
But my biggest issue with Isaiah Stewart, and I've told you this probably the last 2 months, he is not a movement shooter. He's a stand-still three-point shooter. How do you erase that? You run them off the three-point line. What happens when teams know to run him off the three-point line? He tries to make a play, and it turns into a turnover for the Pistons. That is not part of his game. He's just more of a standstill three-point shooter, and I think he would be more effective off the bench than a starter. Whether you want to put a Sar there, you want to put a Livers, whatever. I just think even Bagley, if you want to, I don't know. I think him off the bench would have more value to this team than him starting. But that's just my opinion. That's what I would do with the starting lineup. Bench, I don't know. You could get weird. You could put so many people on the bench. You could start Killian. Who knows? Like, I wouldn't start Killian either, even though Killian has had, statistically, you look at his numbers. He's having a great season, by the way. Like, I got to give him a round of applause. He's actually had a pretty good season, and it's kind of getting swept under the rug because the team is so bad. But that would be my starting five. But what about you? Is it kind of the same thought process, or do you have something different?
So if we're talking just right now with the injuries that we have, I would go Cade, Jaden Ivey, and Killian. Those would be my three guards. I would start Bojan, and I would honestly start James Wiseman because Marvin Bagley and Jalen Duren are out right now. I'd go with those five. I wouldn't play James Wiseman big minutes, but I think he needs a guard like Cade and Killian to just throw him some lobs, get him some easy baskets, get him engaged in the game. He's never going to be a good defender, but we're down to two big men right now. Those are the five I would go with. I would stagger Cade and Bojan. I would always have one of those guys on the floor right now. My bench unit, while the team is hurt, I'd go with Isaiah Stewart. I've been saying it since the offseason. His hustle, his energy, his motor is so much more valuable to this team off the bench. He's a more valuable player playing close to 20 minutes a game versus 30 minutes a game. I mean, I am so tired of him throwing cross-court bounce passes. Dude, it's such a dangerous pass, and he's done it so many times. I don't understand it. I'd go Isaiah Stewart, Alec Burks. I would go Isaiah Livers, and I know people are getting frustrated with him, but dude, it's not his fault. He is being left on an island with no rim protection. What are you doing? You need to have someone back there for when he gets beat. He can only stay in front of his guys so long. And then I go Asar Thompson, and I'm dropping minutes for Marcus Sasser. I'm dropping minutes for Kevin Knox. Those are the guys. Joe Harris, I'm dropping his minutes because he hasn't found his shot. It stayed in Brooklyn. Dude, fuck, it probably stayed in Cleveland. I don't know. And then when this team is healthy, I'm going Monte in the starting lineup with Cade and Ivy. I'm going Bojan, and then I'm going Duren. And then my bench unit is Isaiah Stewart, Alec Burks. I'm going Killian, Marvin Bagley, and Asar. I'll go 10 deep, and that is it. Those are the only 10 I am playing because they all provide something. You got a lob threat in the starting lineup. You got a lob threat in the bench unit. You got more of a defensive-minded guy in Isaiah Stewart, and I'm dropping minutes for Isaiah Livers when everybody gets healthy because, dude, he's had one good game where he had 14 points. The shot's not there. And if you're going to keep him on an island by himself, I don't want to see it. I'm tired of fans calling him out. I'm tired of fans pointing the finger at him saying he's not an NBA player. Dude, it's not his fault that he's been put in the worst situations in all 3 years he's been in the NBA. It sucks. And you all know how much I love Isaiah Livers, and I'm going to keep talking about him like that. I don't want to sit here and say he's terrible. It hurts me when you guys do it, but that would be my rotation for the team right now and for when they're healthy. I wouldn't play Marcus Sasser, man, and that sucks too, but like you're not putting him in a good position. And even when this team is healthy, I could see you bringing Jaden Ivey off the bench and starting Asar Thompson because he needs to play with guys like Monte, Cade, and Bojan, because they're going to open up floors for him to attack the rim and use that athleticism. That's what I would like to see, but we're not going to get it. That's the only problem. Like, nothing we say matters, but that's just those are the things I would do. I would stop playing 11 guys. Dude, I would probably just play 9 for right now. Just get as many minutes as you can for Cade, Ivy, and Bojan. Just let those guys cook and do their thing. And then, with the rest of the guys, sub them in and out. I don't know. You got to do something. But again, I don't think Monty cares about winning right now because he gets to collect that check regardless.
Yeah, the body language from the players wasn't good.
Yeah.
And I know you just went off for a couple of minutes of like what you would do, and I don't really think that would change.
Oh.
I saw more hustle, more effort, more togetherness from Casey's group
than
I did this group. And I think you're establishing a losing culture. And when you establish that, you just expect going into games to lose a game. And that's something that when you rebuild, that can happen. And this is what happens when you don't use your cap space and try to go get a mid-tier free agent. Like, you could have stocked up on some wings the past 2 free agency class. Not saying go out and spend $30 million on a free agent, but maybe go with the mid-level exceptions. Try to get a guy like around 10 to 12 million that could not only help Cade Cunningham, but help the team get a few more wins. That would be progression, but we haven't done that. One thing we've done with free agents really is try to get these, former lottery picks that haven't worked out. The only lottery pick that has really worked out that we traded for is Marvin Bagley. He's the only one that has really worked out, actually.
Yep.
And we only had to give a second-round pick because it was like a 5-6 team trade. But, I mean, this roster construction, man, it's a mess. I hope they're active at the deadline. I really do. You have to fix this mess because if you look at this roster, it's just you have too many guards. You're not playing Marcus Sasser, who was a first overall draft pick. He was, I think the 25th overall draft pick in last year's draft. He needs some more playing time. He's the guy that can shoot the basketball. He's the guy that can help Cade Cunningham, but we're just making Cade's life fucking hell. And I'm not trying to, give Cade a pass, but you can't really evaluate the kid unless you surround him with perimeter shooters. Like I told you at the beginning of the season, I thought Cade Cunningham could average 10 assists. I thought he could if the team went out and addressed the lack of perimeter shooting around him. They didn't. And I think he's around 7 a game right now. He's the type of player where you surround him with perimeter shooters, he's going to be a fine NBA player. But I don't know, man. I'm just ranting at this point.
Go get him a guy that could just create a shot for himself, too. Another guy that can put pressure on the defense. You could have had Kelly Oubre Jr. for $2.8 million, and he just got hit by a car, and he's balling out again. He's about to make his debut from injury. You said something about Dwayne Casey. Dwayne Casey, it was frustrating to watch sometimes with like his play calls, his substitution patterns. But the thing he provided all of these players and what he provided for a young team was a nurturing environment. I know there's some people on Twitter that have a lot of followers. They have a loud voice, and they're saying, well, under Dwayne Casey, guys had bad habits. The thing, I look at it in a different light, and he allowed guys to play through mistakes. And then he brought them out and he said, hey, look, this is what you're doing wrong. This is what you need to clean up. And guess what? We saw improvements with Jaden Ivey. You can say there are people that are always saying he had a bad rookie year because even though he was all rookie second team, he had a great rookie year. He got better from game 1 to game 82. And that was because of the environment Dwayne Casey created. My problem with veteran coaches is the moment a young player messes up, they want to take him out. They want to put him on a short leash, and then they want to sit him right on the bench. You're destroying the confidence of a Jaden Ivey, of an Asar Thompson. They seem like they're playing with handcuffs on, dude. It's terrible, man. Break the cuffs and let them play freely. And we're not getting that with Monty Williams. It's just a disaster, man.